Hello YouTube, welcome to another one of my Duel Links videos, and today I have for you a light rate silent swordsman deck. I think I tried light rate Gearfried a long time ago in the channel, and I wanted to revisit it now that we have a very strong card in silent swordsman, and it came out really good. It's super fun. You guys know I love 30 card decks. I keep saying that every time I post another one, but they're just so fun, man. Playing from the grave is really great. So let's go ahead and go over the deck list. The skill is the same one I'm always using. Spell specialist with 5 different name spells. We have Tribute to the Doom, Dark Core, Grass Looks Greener, Warrior Returning in Life, and 2 Silent Sword Slash. The really cool thing about Silent Sword Slash is that if you mill it with your grass, you can just add a Silent Swordsman to the hand. So it works out great. Normally your spells are dead in the grave, not in this case with Silent Sword Slash. So we have 1 Silent Swordsman level 7, 3 Silent Swordsman level 4, the basic ratios, 2 Kribos to protect ourselves from being OTK'd in those bricky situations. 2 Dawn Knight, really good. Dawn Knight, if it leaves the field, you can send a light warrior from a light monster, I believe actually. Light monster from your deck to the graveyard. So what you want to do is you want to send AD Changer, or you want to send a monster that you don't already have in grave, so that you have the 5 different names that Light Ray requires. Also, if you already have AD Changer and you already have your requirements, I usually just send a Magical Merchant so that I don't draw into that, because it is kind of a brick late game. If you send it from the deck to the graveyard by the effect of something like Grass Looks Greener or perhaps a Jane, then you get to choose a monster, light monster in the graveyard, and put that at the top of the deck. So that works great, especially on big mill plays, like if you mill 9 or 10 cards and you send a Gearfried to the graveyard, you can just put that right on top of the deck and draw into it the following turn, which is ideally what you want to do. I also like to use Dawn Knight to put a Silent Swordsman level 7 back into the deck, because he doesn't do anything for you in the grave. Once this thing hits the grave, you can't special summon it after your Silent Swordsman gets destroyed. So it's a nice way of putting him back into the deck for it to come out once they deal with your Silent Swordsman. We have 2 Jane, nice warrior that mills, and it can get to 2100 attack if it's attacking a monster. 2 Ninja Grandmaster Sasuke. This is just because it's a warrior monster, 1800, and it has a decent effect, being able to destroy any face-up defense position monster on attack. The 3 light gray Gearfried, you guys, the core of the deck. So you need 5 or more light monsters with different names in your graveyard and cannot be special summoned in either ways. And then here's the good thing: once per turn during either player's turn, when a spell or trap card is activated, you can banish 1 warrior type monster from your graveyard, negate the activation, and if you do, destroy it. All face-up monsters you control must be warrior type to activate and resolve this effect. That's not really a problem, because the only non-warrior we have is Magical Merchant and Kribo. You want Kribo in the hand, Magical Merchant is going to be in the grave most of the time. But it does suck when you go up against something like Buster Blader and they have a DNA surgery. So that is the downside of this card. But having this guy and a Silent Swordsman in the field, it's pretty much game. Silent Swordsman is going to take care of any spells. And then you have your Gearfried for traps. If you have a Silent Swordsman level 7, then it's even more of a wrap, because all you have to worry about is traps. And having multiple negations on the field is just too strong in Duel Links, and that's why this deck works. We have 3 Freed the Brave Wanderer. You guys know I really like this card. You can banish 2 light monsters from your graveyard to target 1 face-up monster on the field with higher attack than this face-up card to destroy that target. Really good effect for removal, and it's also a warrior, so it synergizes with everything else. 2 AD Changer, pretty self-explanatory. You banish this to switch the position of a monster. Helps you get rid of some big monsters that you have weak defense, such as Silent Swordsman level 7. 2 Magical Merchant for when you don't have your Grass Looks Greener. It'll get a spell to your hand, which is also really good, but it's not very reliable as far as milling. A lot of the times the very first card at the top of my deck will be a spell and I don't get to mill anything. Tribute to the Doom and Dark Core, just cards that will help you get your graveyard ready, and they are monster removal with different names. The Warrior Returning Alive, you can grab any warrior type monster from your graveyard. So if you need to get your Light Ray Gearfried, if you need to get your Silent Swordsman, or in the rare case you need to get your Silent Swordsman level 7, you know, back in play, you just add it to the hand once it's in the grave. You can also get your Freed for monster removal, which is great. And you guys know what Silent Sword Slash does. Broken when you activate it on one of your Silent Swordsmen. Really nice searcher when it hits the grave. So overall, this deck is really fun. I played a lot of duels and I won most of them, but you know, I kept playing it because I was trying to get different replays. A lot of the times I would just summon 1 or 2 Gearfrieds and my opponent would either scoop or they would get OTK'd. That's how strong this is. But because it is a 30 card deck, it's gonna suffer a little bit from consistency. So you're gonna have those bricky games that, you know, you can't help sometimes with 30 card decks. Spell Specialist going second, Pogs. And look at this gorgeous hand. If this was a warrior instead of Tribute to the Doom, it'd be amazing. But just look at this man's field. Amazon is Princess and 3 back row. And you're about to see what's gonna happen to this man. We're gonna go ahead and go Grassloot Screener. Dawn Knight is gonna put a Freed at the top of the deck just so that I can top deck into it. Double Light Ray Gearfried. It would have been with a Silent Swordsman, but I didn't get a warrior. That's why I said, had this been a warrior, it would have been amazing. So he goes for the Canadia on my Light Ray. We're gonna go ahead and negate that. He has Gravity Lash. I could negate this and my attack goes through, but I wanted to negate the Onslaught before there was anything in the grave or before he special summons something. So getting rid of a Light Ray, you know, swapping 1 Light Ray Gearfried for 2 back row seemed so worth it, and just, you know, save this one for the Onslaught, which is exactly like what we do. We're gonna lose our Light Ray, negate the Onslaught, and then they scoop, because Amazon's players can't play without Onslaught, I guess. They don't want any kind of adversity. They're like, nope, no Onslaught, nope. My 3 back row wasn't good enough, nope. Next we got, also I figured, if you guys watched the last video, I figured out the glitch, I think, of the replay sending you back to the duel world, and it's just random. Like, all I had to do was restart the app and it stopped doing it, and then after a couple hours or so it started doing it again, and I just reset the app and then it stopped doing it. So I don't know what it is, but at least now I know how to fix it. So we have a brick hand, but luckily we have Kuriboh, which is one of our brick proof strategies, and we're going up against Gearfried, which can OTK. So he's gonna go Beret and go for the OTK play here. Exact lethal for him. Still sets 1 back row. We're gonna use our Kuriboh to save ourselves, and we top deck like absolute maniacs. Grassloot Screener. We're gonna use that to send level 7 to the top of the deck. And you might be thinking, why would you want to brick yourself like that? Well, I'm not. I'm gonna use Tribute to the Doom, send my Silent Sword Slash, search a level 4, and that'll shuffle my deck. So he won't be at the top of the deck by the end of this turn. We're gonna go ahead and summon our Gearfried. He's gonna try to Canadia the Gearfried. We're gonna negate that right away. Get rid of the 1400 Gearfried because this guy can special summon something when destroyed by battle. So I want to keep him, you know, with as minimal resources as possible, and then we can just destroy the Beret. My opponent's gonna top deck into nothing, and then they scoop. That's how a lot of these duels went. Once I got Light Ray Gearfried out, they just wouldn't stick around, and I don't blame him. I mean, it's King of Games. They, you know, I guess they want a quick win or a quick scoop, and there's really no consequence to it. And here we have a Tyranno, the new guy. As soon as I unlocked this guy and I got his very first skill at like level 4, I knew this was gonna happen. Like, I knew. I didn't expect to run into it immediately, but I knew it was gonna happen. So you have Dino DNA. If you don't know what that skill does, it adds 200 life points every standby phase. Kind of like a mini golden ladybug. And I was like, somebody's gonna combine the two and just make an annoying stall deck. Guess what we have, ladies and gentlemen? Golden ladybug. So my man's gonna gain 700 life points every turn. We have grass though, so we can't complain too much. Unfortunately, I didn't mill the 5 different name warriors that I needed to summon Light Gray Gearfried. Otherwise, this would have been an OTK. Instead, we're gonna normal summon Jane. He gets floodgated. I'm gonna use AD Changer as an anti-floodgate strat. Hitting for 18. He's gonna set a card, get 700 more life. I'm gonna use Silent Swordsman to search my. You know what I did. Sorry, I can't speak. And I decided to send an AD Changer, thinking this was probably a Wing Kribo. My guess pays off, so we're able to deal another 1800 damage. And even though he's gonna gain another 700, at least we're keeping him within lethal range. And now that I have a Silent Swordsman on the field, he's forced to go for the Lava Golem play, and that's exactly what I needed, because now I have 5 different name warriors in the graveyard. However, because Lava Golem is a fiend, I can't actually negate this card, but I can at least swarm the field with 2 more big monsters that can kill him. So he's gonna stop one with Floodgate, stop another one with Kribo, and I know the other card is Golden Ladybug, so we take the win, hitting him with his own Lava Golem. I knew that was gonna happen, and I know at some point I'm not gonna have a good hand going up against that deck, and I'm going to be really salty, and it's a shame. It's a shame. Alright, we got a Joey Wheeler next. Not a great starting hand, but we have a Sphere Kribo, which is going to keep us from being OTK. That's why I put, you know, a little bit of brick strategies for when we do brick. Here we have a Merchant, which is great. We don't have grass, but Merchant will work just as fine, as long as we don't immediately pick up a spell. And luckily for us, we're going to mill 1, 2, 3, 4. I just need one more. There's the 5th one. There's the 5th different name warrior. Dawn Knight is gonna put another Gearfried at the top of the deck. So we're gonna go ahead and summon 2 Gearfrieds for free. Tribute to the Doom to get rid of his monster. And regardless of what that trap is, I was gonna be able to negate it. Easy win. All thanks to Magical Merchant coming through. Coming through when grass didn't, you know. Merchant was the original grass before the card was ever created. And for our last duel, we have a Ishizu. What was this duel? This is my most recent duel and I don't remember it. Oh, I do remember. This is Gusto. I was very surprised to see a Gusto deck with as many Ancient Gears as there are running around. Ancient Gears just completely destroys Gusto as a deck. We're gonna use Tribute to the Doom here. I wanted to know what I was playing before summoning my Silent Swordsman, and I'll go ahead and set that Silent Sword Slash. Pretty strong opening, but this deck is very stally, and they get plenty of resources. Like, look at his resources: 4 cards. He's about to have 3 cards on the field, so 7 to 3. But I do have a Silent Sword Slash, which is, you know, better than anything he's about to summon. Armades would be great for him, but unfortunately I have the Silent Sword Slash. Unfortunately for him, great for me. So now I have a 3500 beater on the board, and I'm going to thin my deck out a little bit before setting my second Magical Merchant. Because the first one didn't mill anything, I just picked up the Tribute to the Doom right away. We're going to see that Gusto Goldos, that's going to destroy my Silent Swordsman. But now you have a level 7 to deal with. So he attacks into my Magical Merchant. This time we're actually gonna mill some monsters, which is great. And milling a Dawn Knight is always good because you're gonna be able to control your top deck. When you mill a Dawn Knight from a merchant during your opponent's turn, it's great because you just get to control your top deck. So as you guys can see, I get a grass that I'm not even gonna need, and I'll put a Gearfried at the very top. Look at this. What are you to do against this field? You know, unless you're Odeon running like a million traps, what are you gonna do against Silent Swordsman level 7 and Light Rate Gearfried? I'll tell you what you're gonna do. You're gonna take this L after I negate your Canadia and hit you for 28. Really, really, really fun deck. I cannot stress that enough. It's very expensive because of the Silent Swordsman, but if you were able to afford the structure decks and you have all 3 of them, everything else is cheap. Everything else is pretty much free to play besides the 2 Kribos. So if you can, try this deck out. It's super fun, and I hope you guys enjoyed it. Thank you so much for watching. As always, like, comment, and subscribe if you want. Join my Discord if you haven't. The link will be down in the description, along with my PayPal link if you guys want to support my channel, support my content. I really appreciate that. And until next time.